Hi there, well I've had two abortive attempts at making the crankshaft for the Jerry Howell V-twin, driving me nuts. So in this video I'm going for a bit of light relief. Hi there, in this video I'm going to replace the clutch cable on my little BSA Bantam B175, and having sort of like looked around the internet and read sort of various posts on various forums, looks like a lot of people run into some difficulties here. It's the end bit, the engine side is quite difficult to sort of get to, and also it seems to be a lot of confusion around the actual cable lengths, the inner and the outer, but we'll see how we get on. So as you can see, the clutch cable is in a poor state of repair really. It's got some insulating tape around here that's coming off. It's frayed here, and this particular bike has got adjusters on the levers, and there seems to be quite a bit of a discussion going on the forums about bikes being non-standard with these adjusters, but I'm not too sure about that. I'm sure there are bikes around that don't have them, but I'm fairly certain that this bike came with these adjusters on it when it was made. So the plan will be to try and get this cable off first of all, and measure it and see if I can find something online. Now the engine end is down here. You might be able to see it's a bit of a difficult angle. See any movement here? Might be that I need to put the bike on one side in order to get to it from the bottom. So just to follow the route of the cable, comes down here along the frame and just under and into the engine. That big cable on the left hand side, it's actually the speedo cable, I think. Not sure if you can see the other one going in there. No, it's quite difficult to see at this angle. There you go. Now this little cover here, if you pull that off, you can get to the clutch adjustment. But I'm just going to leave that alone because I think the clutch is adjusted okay. And there's just a bit of free play on this lever here. So hopefully I'm going to replace it with the same amount of free play, or maybe just a little bit less than that. And just for the record, there's about 15mm of thread sticking out there. So I'm going to move the adjuster right in to give me some free play. And in theory, do that. Needs to come off down there. Well, that was easily done. I thought it would be just a matter of pushing this off here, but it isn't. So I'm going to have to fiddle around under there. So that's where the cable is. That's where it ends. So I think I'm just going to poke around with the screwdriver to get that off. Obviously I can't video it while I'm doing it, but fingers crossed it should be an easy process. Well, that was a bit faffy trying to get it off, but I got there in the end, and what I need to do now is to measure the inner and the outer cable. Okay, so the outer measures 46 inches, and the amount of cable exposed on the inner is, looks to me like 4¼ inches, excluding the ends. And just out of curiosity, that's what the engine end looks like. Well, I've done a bit of searching online and I've come to the conclusion that this cable is a one-off. that's been made in a home workshop, so there's nothing like this available online, and all the cables I've found are a lot shorter, and the amount of exposed inner cable seems to be around about 3 inches opposed to 4 inch. So what I've decided to do is to make my own cable. So I've purchased this sort of cable kit, vinyl cable kit, and it's got various sort of nipples, but nothing like what I need. So I want to keep this cable intact. I don't want to take that nipple off there, just in case my cable making is a total disaster. At least I can go back to this as a backup. So what I'm going to do first of all is to go over to the mill and make the engine side nipple. So this is a piece of 3/8 diameter brass, and I've done the measurements in millimeters. So I've moved the cutter in by 2.9 millimeters, and I need to cut to a depth of 2.72 millimeters. So I'll flip this around and repeat the same process on the other side, but I'll do that off camera. So this is a 12mm cutter, and I've moved it that way from the edge, 8.1mm. So I'm going to cut down again to a depth of 2.72mm. And I'll switch it round and repeat the same process on the other side, but again I'll do that off camera. So I've also taken 1.5mm off the top edges here. So what I need to do now is to drill through with the 2mm drill bit to take the cable, but I've got a centre drill in here first of all. Well, that seems to have worked out pretty well. If anything, it might be slightly oversized in places, but I can sort of file it down if I need to. And the inner cable that I got from Vinyl is 2mm in diameter, same as that one. But the problem I've got now, I've just realised, is the outer cable is bigger in diameter than the old one, so that's no good. There's no way that will fit because it needs to go into part of the engine casing, and it's not big enough to take that. So a little bit back to the drawing board at the moment. Now, just out of curiosity, I thought I'd buy a cable that's advertised as being for a D175, and as I suspected, the amount of exposed cable here, which should be 4 inches, is 3 inches, and the actual outer cable length is 39 inches. So I've heard what some people do is they actually try and take an inch off here using a Dremel or something like that. Even then, I think it's probably pushing it. It's probably, this outer cable is probably a little bit on the short side. So what I've decided to do is make my own. Now, after a bit of searching around, I found this company, Vehicle Wiring Products Limited, in Derbyshire, and they sell the outer cable by the meter, the inner cable by the meter, and ferrules. So those are the product codes there. Ferrules F35, the inner GWS2, and the outer LB2NS. And that all came to £26.29. And this looks like the perfect stuff, just exactly what I need. The outer diameter of the outer is perfect. Also the ferrules, and the inner is 2mm in diameter as well. So I'll use this to make my own. So there's several videos out on the internet showing the process using a solder pot. So I've had to go and buy one. So there's some soldering there at the moment. Hopefully we'll be melting shortly. And we've got some flux. So I think the first process is, well, to splay these out a bit. I maybe haven't done that as much as I should have done. I don't know. You dip that in the flux, and then you just dip that in the solder pot first of all. Once you've done that, you pull the nipple up as far as you can, and then dip the rest in the solder pot again, and then tidy it up. That's the idea. Looks like it's just starting to go. It's on 420 degrees C. I'll up it a bit, 450. Okay, so it looks to be getting there, so I'll put a bit more flux on the end. I'll just dip it in. Just like that. Okay, so I've pushed the nipple on as far as possible. Put some more flux on it, and now I'll dip it in again. About 10 seconds I reckon. So now I'll just tidy it up on the grinding wheel. But I'll do that off camera. That seems to turn out okay. So this is the lever end. Again, I made the nipple on the milling machine and in the lathe. It seems to have soldered up quite nicely. I've got an exposed cable length of around about 4¼ inches. These ferrules were a little bit tedious to put on, but I think I got there in the end. Well, having made this cable to the size of the one I took off, I just think it's too long. The other one took a strange route as well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shorten the outer and the inner by 4 inches. I think that'll be a better fit. So I've cut 4 inch off the outer and the inner, so we'll give it another go. So I've dipped it in a bit of flux. Leave it in 10 seconds, I think. Now with the nipple pulled on, again it's been dipped in flux. Leave it in 10 seconds. So I've adjusted it so there's just a little bit of free play there. And in the end I ended up with an outer cable measuring 42 inches and the inner cable exposed by 4¼ inches, so that was in total 46.5 inches. But it seems to fit really well, so I'm happy with that.